People ask about coupon codes. I'm actually really happy and proud to say we burned through like 1,000 coupon codes in like the first week of the tournament. Like, you guys actually fucking nailed it. So, while we don't have coupon codes, we got this really experimental like tweet, retweet, click the sponsor links deal going on. We've made sure, by the way, I've personally vetted the links. There's no malicious bullshit. There's no stupid video ads that play. Clicking any of those links after logging in will add money on your behalf. And that money comes out of Match Arena's pocket too. So, hey, double whammy. But all right, guys, it's the winners match. We're going to see who moves on to Group Stage 2. More on that in a second. Until then, in the bottom right, we have our blue Zerg, Bly.
And in the upper left-hand side, we have our red Protoss player, DnS.
Now, as I said, the Korean bracket is actually fully wrapped up and done. As far as I'm aware, it's much more difficult to handle visas coming from there than it is from necessarily general places in Europe. So we had to wrap up the Korean side of the bracket quickly. But we still have 2 full groups to go through in Group Stage 2 for Europe and then the playoffs. All of this will wrap up before the end of the month. But if you like your European foreign StarCraft 2 players, boy, oh boy, do we have a lot of games still coming up in the near future just for you.
Exciting. It's gonna be fun, man. I'm excited to see what the Group Stage 2 groups look like. We already know this.
You are really quiet now, unless you're just talking
really
quiet.
Now? How can I suddenly be really quiet? Is that better?
I think you're just mumbling. All right, yeah, it's a bit better. I turned you up a bit too. Should be safe.
Okay. I was just saying.
Enunciate, Wardy.
When do we get to find out what Group Stage 2 looks like?
Well, today actually. This is the last group stage of Group 1, so we already know 6 of the 8 players moving on to the next groups, and of course, those groups will all be best of 5s, not best of 3s like these ones have been.
So you're telling me by the end of today we'll have 2 groups?
Correct. Now, actually, I did mention this earlier in the cast, and I didn't get to follow up on it. The groups originally had some pretty smooth dates, and then Nation Wars finals and all these other group things kept getting pushed around and delayed. So we're trying to coordinate it so that our groups play after Nation Wars is fully completed and after players have had time to fly home. Because there's some folks like Optimus, love Optimus to death. If he's in the current Group Stage 1, he can't play. He'll be in travel back home from Nation Wars. But he's available for Group 2. So, coordinating with the players, working to the best worker capabilities to accommodate their schedules, only to later find out they'll no-show at the last second. Par for the course. Feels bad, man.
I'm sure.
Alright, I'm gonna turn you up a little more.
I'm super quiet. Maybe I can turn myself up over here, because I did turn myself down to try and help. I just don't understand what's going on with my microphone anymore, Rifkin.
I don't know. To me, it just sounds like you're speaking softer, personally, but...
Really? Okay, we're going to be very bold with my words.
Good. Sounds great. Keep it up.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, did you know that even as a British dude, I need to like get something done so I can visit Canada? It's a good thing I checked that, isn't it?
Yes, it is very good that you checked that, Wardy. I'd be very upset with you if you didn't, frankly.
I thought I could just show up to Canada.
I'm a little bit lucky, actually. I got... It's not like I don't have dual citizenship, but I have the possibility of dual citizenship with the UK. Because my dad's British.
Oh, really?
Or, well, he's not British, but he's from... Anyways, point is, it's the one good thing you ever did for me. If I ever need to go there, it should be a little bit easier than normal.
Yeah? I don't know why you'd want to come to the UK, though.
Because you guys got Doctor Who and fucking women with horrible teeth? I don't know. Maybe I'm into that.
Yeah, you couldn't even think of 2 things.
Because I don't like tea. I don't like hot liquids. We've covered this.
Way to prove my point. I'm going to listen to myself for a moment to see what I sound like and see if something happens.
You know what? You know what you have, Wardy, that I would love to come visit Britain for?
Sorry?
You know what I would love to come visit Britain and experience firsthand, actually?
I don't know. I don't
Brexit.
Want to know. There's not much to experience.
Actually, I do want to talk a little bit what DNS is doing, but to follow up, I would actually love to try and attend like a panel show. I love British panel shows. Like 8 out of 10 cats or like Would You Lie to Me are like my favorite things to watch. But anyways, yeah, good old Canadian Rifkin's gonna be staying at home for quite some time. DNS went for the pretty classic opening. I mean, there really isn't anything wrong with this, as we see the oracles are actually getting some damage done. But Bly's got a pretty tight defense, so this won't end his life, but certainly has been annoying. Because while this goes on, of course, DnS isn't just doing Oracle harass, he's preparing for the follow-up attack. Warp Prism being built, charge halfway done. I mean, there's going to be some Archons in the mix too, and this is possibly going to get nasty for Bly sooner than later.
Yeah, I mean, already doing some damage with the early Oracles is always a big, positive, right? It always puts you into a little bit of a better position moving onwards. So now that the Archons are coming in, the Charge Bots are maybe going to come and join across the map. This is a little bit scary. I mean, we are up to what, like 6 gateways?
Did I use that word correctly, by the way, in chat?
Which one? You numpty? Yeah, that's top notch.
See, I'm ready to go, dude. I'm prepped and ready. But hey, thank you too early for me for the 34-month resub. The late time to be subbing. That name suddenly boggles my mind. Oh, this is a bad attack, and DnS is going to realize it. Backing away immediately. That's way too many Hydras to walk into.
So the Archons go into the main, and that's where the Zealots warp in, and obviously everything goes out the front to deal with those couple of units. So now, a little bit more potential here, and maybe those units can start to move forwards once again as these Zealots, they buy time for the Archons to get some of these drone kills already. And, with an Overlord going down, a Hydra, a handful of drones, it's definitely worth the few Zealots that he gives up. And also, look at the work account, 47 to 50. Bly's just being kept at like 50 drones, and he isn't going beyond that. So DnS really keeping himself in a nice little position here. And the Archon harassment will continue for just a while longer.
Now, of course, before we get too deep into the game, that emphasis that this is the winner's match. So the loser will fight TLO in the grand finals. And I'm kind of thinking like TLO's got to be rooting for DnS really hard right now. Probably having a better chance to fight against Bly than a rematch against the Protoss god that is DnS.
Yeah, I think TLO's definitely going to prefer playing the ZVZ over the ZVP, so he's going to be hoping that Bly because that's going to give DnS some time to prepare an extra bit of defense, and well, those Lings and Hydras aren't going to have a very good time at all. DnS is getting ready to give them a big old cuddle when they come out of their spaces.
I'm Mr. Poopy Butthole. Ooh-wee. This really sucks. That's such an expensive part of Bly's army that's just gonna get massacred. And yeah, the second it comes out of stasis, it reminds me of that scene from Cabin in the Woods. One of the monsters break out of the doors. That might be an obscure reference, I don't know, but I love that movie. Don't know why I'm thinking of it right now, but he's getting back with the Hydras. With the Zealots being gone, the Archons do have to be a little cautious. Hydras do have a lot of damage, let's not forget, but in full retreat mode, Bly does manage to get a couple units to run by, but another stasis trap catches him off guard, and oh, DnS, I love those stasis traps.
DnS is just in such a position to push in from the right-hand side here, and I mean, he's just had so much success in the last few moments. He doesn't even need to push in. Look at the work accounts. He's ahead in workers. If he just sits back, gets Storm, he's going to have a great time. But at the same time, I don't mind the idea of him maybe looking to see if he can find
get a Warp Prism. Get a Warp Prism.
Right now, he has to be careful. Yeah, if he loses the Prism, that would be absolutely devastating. It is low because of the units that came out of stasis. They did target it down before. There's now some links show up, but the Oracles are there. DnS does not leave any hole unfilled.
Lewd. Oh, he could have got the Warp Prism. That was a bit of a mistake there from Bly, pulling back at the last second. Oh man, Diet Sun has never seen Cabin. Yo, actually, real talk, guys. I know that I sometimes recommend some trolly things. Cabin in the Woods was actually an excellent movie, and I don't want to say anything about it to spoil it, but it's worth watching. Sort of.
What's the basement?
I can't talk about it.
Does it have a basement in it? Like, is that a spoiler?
What do you? May or may not have a basement in it. It may or may not be scary.
Much of a spoiler. You tell me Dragonfall has a fight and love that.
I can't even do it. I was gonna do Ultra Instinct. Forgive me. That was cringe. That was so cringe. But okay, the timing for this works out. Bly hitting that right side. Banelings with no speed have no chance to connect to that mineral line. But if they take it themselves out of the the shield battery, it might not be bad. DnS trying to transfer back way too soon. Almost walked right into the Banelings. Oh my god.
Finish up as well now. So the High Templar actually have a bit more of a use. And the Hydras are extremely damaged as they have to pull away here to the right side. And Bly, down in supply, only has minerals in the bank. He has so many minerals. His gas is just not there. He needs to get his 7th and 8th gases up so if he can. But honestly, will he have a chance? I think there's a Warp Prism heading towards his 4th base. So even that seems somewhat unlikely at this moment. As DnS, again, good fights. Just time after time in this PvZ.
This is like, you kill the sheriff, but you don't kill his kid. So he grows up later, comes back to kill you. what the Warp Prism's doing, this thing should not have lived through that earlier attack, and that's a big problem for Bly because he really can't afford to split his army. He's already down half the supply. Guys, it's a dead man walking.
Well, I think Bly we have a dead man walking right now because when these storms start to connect, it just kind of takes away the chances that Bly has to come back in this. A couple of Banes get close to the High Templar, and in the end, after the storms get thrown down, DnS will just warp in the Archons, but I mean, a couple of links streaming out every now and then is not going to really start turning this away.
Bly's taking a much better fight than I thought he would, if we're going to be completely honest. And a run by has actually killed a lot of probes. But, man, I hope this guy likes spicy meats and sleeping, because he's still going to rest in pepperonis at this rate. Are you okay? Sounds like you got a bit of the sniffles there.
Rests in pepperoni.
I mean, this is
comprehending that. Just trying to understand that you spent so much time on that phrase.
I didn't, but okay.
I mean, you did.
This killed a lot of probes, and this looks like it should be better for Bly than it is. The supplies aren't even that crazy in a gap, right?
Yeah.
But let's remember, he lost the 4th. On top of this, his opponent's got Storm and upgrades. I mean, this numbers-wise looks okay for Bly, but it's really deceiving. And in fact, with Warpins finally coming in, it's not actually the case anymore. Bly's just straight up behind.
Yeah, I mean, you lose 2 bases, you have absolutely no mining, you lose most of your production. There's nothing you can do about it. He's still on Hydralisks against an Immortal Archon Storm army. You're just not going to have a good time against this. Bly doesn't even have upgrades. I actually don't think Bly could be further behind without making it look somewhat reasonably close in terms of supplies.
I mean, the only chance here, like if we're talking like extremes, if he gets lurkers out and DnS handles those poorly,
right. Yeah.
But the likelihood of that,
take the worst fight ever onto the lurkers. Like,
right? He'd have to do like move command type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd have to really mess this up. I mean, I think even moving, if we're ramping to lurkers at this point, might not be good enough. And so who do you see those feet Banes chasing down his up? So at least he pushes that away.
You know, it sucks. He starts bailing speed. I would have loved to have actually seen this much earlier, especially with that fight around the 3rd. That could have been the difference of him actually catching probes. But,
yeah.
Oh boy, that's a lot of Templar with a lot of energy.
But I mean, not starting the baneless speed is maybe like repercussions from how aggressive DnS was. You know, the first Oracles got damage done. The Archon drop did okay, kept the Zerg player busy, and that's little things like that. And that's stasis, obviously. And at that sort of point, when you get caught in a stasis like that one, you have to focus up on, you know, throwing down maybe more units to kind of survive the counterattack rather than taking up your current units. So, Bly's trying everything to get back in this, by the way. Like, main run-bys, counterattacks, trying to get a few houses ahead to pick off Templar, but none of it's enough so far, even if you start pulling it all together.
I'm about to pull an Armstrong with this one and go for a bit of a stretch, but do you think he got those from a used Terran sofa?
Got what?
The Reaper cushions you were talking about? Riff D in the chat. All right, you know what? Silliness aside, getting back on a serious note, because this is still a dead man walking, but this is that time to make these lurkers shine. This is the chance, the only opportunity, as this will be a bit of a surprise, but looks like DnS not caught off guard, but he's got 2 observers. Bly's dead.
He gets into such a good position. Maybe if he can snipe the observers, he gets one of them. It's something. Yeah, but he's this way safely.
He could actually walk one Templar over here and just storm the mineral line. Like, he doesn't actually have to even push down that ramp.
Yeah, he can just basically, he actually has to just run into the 3rd base right now, by the way, so he's going to be able to once again get even more damage done. The drones are just disappearing, and that's the issue, right? Bly just cannot stabilize people more than they will go look.
Moves like this are nice, but it's not a probe game anymore. DnS already has the necessary army to win. So while this is really cool, and he could hypothetically kill every probe of DnS, it still might not matter. He has to take an army fight. And his only chance for this is to not have Revelation and not have observers be a factor.
In this game, that became such a mess with these lurkers all over the place. Like, the Zealots run back in on the left-hand side. Like, could these units be more all over?
I really would have loved to see lurker drops, actually, even on top of that.
Yeah.
But with such limited supply, you know what? Determination is Bly's middle name, and he's still sticking this out. I still think he's totally screwed, but he's making this look more viable than I expected.
I'm impressed he has the like the willpower to continue in a game where he's just been battered and bruised so many times over. He's trying to get a spider rope. I can't for the life of me imagine what his goal would be, because obviously no hive, so is he going to try and like suddenly move this way?
That won't work as DNS is already moving towards Sky Toss. This is that lull though where you're kind of like, wait, why isn't he pressuring me? Why isn't he throwing endless waves of zealots at me? What is he spending that money on? And Bly's got a clue in at some point. So this might even just be for blind corruptors. It's weird, but it could be a sick read out of him, all things considered. But man, people just love my bad jokes. I messed this one up yesterday, so if you're here yesterday, you've heard this, but I think Wardy might not have. Wardy, what's your opinion on smoking? Like cigarettes and stuff, or otherwise. A lot of people say smoking causes diseases, but they also forget smoking cures salmon.
This just has such a long setup.
It really doesn't. Have you heard my train conductor joke? That has a long setup.
Okay, go. We've got a while until cameras show up.
Oh man, we're not doing that one today. Bailey's looking to roll in. There's actually a lot of probes to grab, but as stated multiple times, this really isn't a probe game anymore. I mean, it's so sick. I want to be hyped up. 18 Baileys go down. Whoa, or probes go down. Whoa. But again, DNS's game is not about the probes. It's about those carriers. It's about the massive amount of Archons and Templar he has.
It really is. And I mean, Bly thrown into mutas, it's a nice idea, the mutalist, but it's just not going to kind of, you know, even if he flies around the bases and kills all the probes, does it bring him back into the game? I still don't really think so.
I don't think so either. But let's be real.
Just wouldn't even let that happen.
This went from double the army supply to a little bit closer to looking possible on a numbers scale. If you didn't actually, if we turned the production off, right, had my map thing in the corner of the map like this, and you just saw the tab at the bottom, this doesn't look that bad for Bly. But we know that's not really the story of this game. Shield Battery trying to keep these probes alive. They do go down. I mean, Bly has picked off like 72 workers now. Credit where it's due. He's killed a lot of probes.
No, he's put a lot of work into killing those probes, and he's actually gotten a lot of progress. But DNS finds a way around the army in the center, so doesn't even have to fight the lurkers to come in and kill this base. And well, honestly, now I feel when the lurkers reposition, he might actually just commit to the fight, because he's got a few carriers mixed in here as well. Yes, he has to deal with the mutas, but now he's getting Phoenix out too, so the mutas aren't even going to get as much damage as he'd like to anymore. The Archon gets a shot or two, so it's fantastic as well. And well, the lurkers are still on the low ground. Bly isn't even moving his units to come and help out.
You know what's funny? If this was a pure carrier army and DNS was losing his workers like this, Bly would actually have a better chance at starving him out of the interceptors. But with the Archons, there's no way to stop that. With the Immortals, there's no way to stop that. He's just going to try and base trade it out. And I think this is his only option, but it's not going to be enough. Because at any point, DNS could just recall back home.
Yeah, I mean, DNS just puts Bly back onto one base and then he just recalls home after killing all the tech, right?
Bly.
What's going to happen?
This is where people probably start typing the offensive like outs, GGs.
Really.
No, I love Bly. If you guys watch the channel, you know, long-time friend of the channel, love Bly, but sometimes he's just so infuriating to watch as he takes so long to die.
He tries absolutely everything, right? And you know, right now these mutas are still dealing damage, right? He still has something on this side.
Oh, he's about to kill 100 probes. 94.
You never know when he finds that one base trade that somehow the pros player messes up, right? So
that's actually a really good point though, because there's so many. I can't even begin to tell you how many games I've cast of Bly where it was like this. He should have died, he should have lost, and then somehow miraculously wins. It's not a high percentage, but it's enough to make you go, okay, that's actually a thing. But 101 probes, guys. GG. DNS takes game number 1. Very, very long fought battle.
Maybe that was Bly's goal, to kill 101 probes, so he can make a film.
I love that there's some actual logic where Bly just wants to wear his opponents down. It's not about game 1, it's about game 2.
It could be. You never know. Well, TL will be happy with that, we think, as DNS takes the first game. 1 map away from going to the round of 8, group stage 2.
Also,
Square to continue.
Worth noting, because Liquipedia has been incorrect about this. Group Stage 2 also is where you get another $50 bump to your current prize winnings. And I do want to actually talk about that, but we're going to go to commercial break first, and we'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Thanks for watching.